This movie is definitely not going to help with the declining birth rate.
That fuck-ass doll on the fridge, that's horrifying.
Yeah.
And they did it the creepiest way possible.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have to bring that up.
I do.
I question your logic on that, but let me hear it.
Welcome back to Better Dig 2, the husband and wife horror podcast bringing our couch conversations to the masses. I'm your host, Maddie.
And I'm your host, Shrade.
Grab a seat on the couch and let's talk horror.
Maddie, my love, what are some of the scariest sound effects in horror movies? We all know.
Oh, yeah. Got Bruce.
Got representation today. And of course, we cannot forget about. So, what are some of the ones that really stand out to you?
To me, all strings are always going to be one just because of the make your teeth grind. The Insidious.
Yes, 100%.
That one, especially after the house.
Yeah.
That one was so good. It just sticks with you. Sinister.
Sinister had 100%.
It just makes you
the blending of the
unsettled.
old and the new together.
Mm-hmm. And then those being just more on the music side of it. Another one I think of when I'm thinking about an audio that just is unsettling.
Mm-hmm.
The bear from Annihilation.
Oh God,
The
scream?
like mimicked voice.
Yeah, oh God, yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I completely agree with you. The reason we bring up audio this week is we get to talk about a very, very good movie.
Mm-hmm. So this week on our movie review, we got to go watch Undertone. So Undertone, written and directed by Ian Tuason, maybe, starring Nina Kiri, Adam DeMarco, and Michelle Duquette.
Mm-hmm. The host of a popular paranormal podcast becomes haunted by terrifying recordings mysteriously sent her way. And as all movie reviews, we will go ahead and put a big fat spoiler warning. This movie review is filled with spoilers. Turn back now if you don't want it to be spoiled.
We would recommend going and watching it. But if not, you've been warned.
All right. Saddle up and dig in with us. Let's kick it off with the rubric.
Yep. All right. First category, acting quality. I gave it a 3.5. Very small cast. I didn't know any of them.
No.
So
they've been on other productions, like I think one was on Black Lotus. And
White Lotus.
White Lotus.
The
that's
guy,
right.
yeah. I think I remember him. I think that was the first season. Smaller
Mhm.
part, I think. But he was just a voice in the movie. So really, there was only one actress.
I don't know. Mama scared the hell out of me.
But really, the entire movie was basically one person. So she had to carry it. And she definitely did a watchable job.
I think with what we'll get into later, she really did a solid, super solid job, kind of having to be the one and the only, you know? I also gave it a 3.5 for that reason. I would have liked to see more character interaction and more face-to-face, really get the emotional attachment. But you're kind of thrown into her emotional turmoil, and that isolated feeling that she has, I think, kind of makes up for it. So 3.5 is pretty solid.
Yeah. All right, next category, visual effects and cinematography. I gave this one a 4.5.
I question your logic on that, but let me hear it.
So the way that it was filmed, it just made the whole atmosphere of the movie so unsettling to me. Just the flipping point of views.
The off-camera, the panning.
But
Okay.
it wasn't, and I'll make this point later about the panning. I thought it was just done really well. None of it was trying to get a cheap scare. The camera angles, I thought it was really well done. It really enhanced the movie.
Okay. I
for me.
I gave it a big 3.5, which is not bad. You could definitely get kind of the idea that it was a lower budgeted movie.
Yeah.
I think that the director, with what he had available, was awesome. Like the fact that it was shot in his childhood home
Mm-hmm.
is badass.
Well, and it's not a movie set.
No, and
So they're having to work with normal walls and what's just already there.
mm-hmm.
They're working in a confined space because it could be a small house.
It definitely felt very claustrophobic. And then in some spots, it was too large. Like the room was too big for all of the noises that were coming in
Yeah.
and out of it. Which brings us to audio. I gave it a 4.
I also gave it a 4.
I think if you are going to tout this movie as the scariest movie you've ever heard,
Yep.
you really need to, you know, buy into it, and they delivered.
When we first heard about the movie, I was excited. Sounded good. In the week since it's been out, I was hearing not very good reviews. So I was a little wary going into it. And it was much better than I had expected. I don't know if the people that I had been hearing their reviews just didn't have a good experience with it. They were saying the audio was not good.
I think that is theater dependent.
Yeah.
Of,
And we don't have the best theater, and we weren't even in one of the best theaters within our movie theater.
mm-hmm.
And it was still really good for the audio. But it was a solid 4.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the only way that you could make it better was maybe in a different theater, maybe with the surround sound where it's in the seats itself,
Oh my
kind of giving you
gosh.
that extra dimension of noise. But even then, I think it would have gone up in another category.
This will be one that I will want to watch again at home with our surround sound.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it will give even a better experience.
I hope that a certain member that's listening out there will be here for it, because he always does this.
With our little side speakers, it's always right behind your ear and you always jump. But yeah, sweet. I think this would be even better in our home audio.
Mm-hmm. Next category is story. I gave it a 3.
I gave it a 4.
It's respectable. I understand where it comes from. It's also a very feminine presenting movie where you are a heroine. I'm not a heroine, unfortunately, so I can't really get into that mind space. And Evie's character, we'll discuss it a little bit later, but the skeptic was almost too much skeptic for me.
Yeah, but I think she was playing a character, because they even mentioned that multiple times. He said they'd say get back into character.
Yeah.
So I think her character for the podcast that she does, she is the skeptic. Now, obviously, that probably means that she is the more skeptical person in their friend relationship. So she just enhanced that persona. And but yeah, I liked it. It was an original story. I liked the more modern take.
It is cool to have a modern possession story in the use of it, instead of having to we have to shoot this in the 70s because there's no cell phones and blah blah blah.
Exactly.
It really merged modern technology with
so many problems with older horror movies would be solved in modern times just by cell phones and internet. And so it makes it almost not as scary, because you're like, well, I'd be fine now because I would have my phone on me. So it really makes it more scarier, because you still have those advantages and it still doesn't do you any good. Or in this case, those modern technologies is what is being used against
it's what
the protagonist.
Yeah, it brings the demon.
It is the vehicle.
Yeah. Which is such a fun take too, because it's the backward audio of Baa Baa Black Sheep and other childhood like nursery rhymes. That's horrifying.
Yeah.
And they did it the creepiest way possible.
Well, it was multiple children's songs.
Right.
So I did like how that's such a like satanic panic thing.
It is a cool callback.
With the reversing the audios, and there's like hidden messages in them, in the songs. And the fact that they were all the children's songs, and they would reverse them, and they would find a message here, find a message there. And it was a demon or entity that preyed on children.
Yeah.
Using children's songs as a way to get in there.
100%. And like the way that we kind of get introduced to that is really well done. And we'll talk about tension here in a minute. But I just really have to say, while we're talking on story, there wasn't a point where I was like, okay, but like what's next? Like it felt like the pacing was really well done, and I vibed with it.
It could have been so boring.
Oh, they had every opportunity to flop, and the way that other people were reviewing it made it sound like that's what happened. But I think maybe those people just don't have taste. It's just
well, and a typical horror movie is they usually keep it to about 90 minutes. This one was 2 hours.
It didn't feel like that.
No. So the pacing was really well done, even for just a very limited set. So
I agree. That brings us to a good segue into scariness. I gave it a 3.5. It was unsettling, but again, I am a gory body horror. Possession movies really aren't my like jam, but I still enjoyed it. What did you give it, my love?
So I will say this. So yes, your brand of scary is body horror, gore. It always makes me think of back in high school when the very first Insidious came out.
You didn't have to bring that up.
I do, because I have to let people understand our differences. You watched Insidious with your brother, I think, and y'all were like terrified.
It was a scary ass movie.
That movie, I just remember you telling me it was like the scariest movie you'd seen, or at least seen in a long time. Scared the shit out of y'all. And then, so you were like trying to warn me, and I was like, oh, I'll watch it. So then we go to watch it together, and I was laughing through the whole thing.
It was very rude. I was very self-conscious about it.
He was expecting me to just be cowering.
Not cowering, just having some sort of emotional, panic maybe.
Yeah. Early dating days, you definitely weren't trying to get me to like,
I listen, we've been together long enough. I know that was never going to happen now.
So movies that get me are usually the ones like the found footage, because they just feel so real. So Paranormal Activity, when that one first came out, same kind of, I guess that was before Insidious, I think. That one got me. Movies like that. So this movie got me. I cannot remember the last time a movie spooked me. Stop.
We're going to make fun of me.
I will. Yeah. I'll reenact it. I cannot remember the last time a movie spooked me this bad for as long as it did. Like, I will get maybe a good jump every once in a while, or there will be like one thing in a movie that'll get me. Most of the time, it's more of just I'm cringing. Like, oh, like I can empathize pain of like a broken bone or a really bad wound, but it's not scaring.
Yeah.
This movie, from about, the halfway point on, there was multiple times I was like back in my seat. I was like over on you.
Yeah.
And I wanted to cover my ears, but I knew I couldn't in this movie specifically because the audio was so important.
100%.
But man, there was points I wanted to be like looking through my fingers. I wanted to like cover my ears. Yeah, I was like back in my seat for a good chunk of this movie. it got me. So I gave it a 5 on scariness.
Gold star.
Yeah.
Well done.
This was a Maddie coded scare. Like it got me for sure.
Okay.
So I think it deserved a 5 on scariness from me.
So following that trend, I scored it a 3.5 on our enjoyability. There were some outside factors we had no control of. I had a very nice gentleman who was eating as loud as humanly possible. To the point where he even apologized that he was sorry.
It was such a quiet movie.
It was such a quiet movie.
Realize.
Yeah, and so it was pretty interesting. And then on the other side of you, there were like 4, I'm going to say they're high school boys.
Oh, yeah.
And they were terrible at the beginning of the movie.
They could have been so much worse. I think that actually gives credit to this movie.
Yes, that's my point.
Held their attention because once it got going, the only thing I heard, they would comment on the movie, but they weren't being loud. I was worried how they were before the movie. I was like, oh, great. But the fact that it held their attention the whole time, and we laughed. We definitely laughed because we would hear like the, oh, hell no, like from them. So it was good. I gave it a 4. This one was kind of hard because I had to think, did I enjoy this? Because I felt like my heart was racing for the majority of the movie. I was, I had some going on. So I was like, did I enjoy it? But I did. I gave it a 4. Mainly for the fact that first movie in a long time that scared me.
Good.
And I honestly, I stand by that even more now.
Okay.
Because even though I would not be in any danger from this deity or demon specifically, I do not meet the criteria for the type of person it's going to go after. I had to get up in the night to go get a drink, and I didn't want to.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I think that's the first time that
it's been a minute.
Yeah.
It has been a minute since a movie made me just want to be like, nope, we'll wait till the sun comes up. Yep. So, but I was very brave.
You were very brave.
I went up and I walked through the dark house and went and got a drink.
Okay.
Yep.
You gave this extra bonus points, so I'll let you kick it off.
I did. So, our bonus, we always say we try to cap it because we could sit there and give bonus points or take bonus points away all day long. So we capped, our bonus to either -5 to +5. I gave this one a full 5 bonus points.
That is very rare for you.
It is. And the 5 bonus points I gave it, there are other things I could honestly switch around. Like I could take out one thing and replace it with a different item. There was multiple things in this movie that I really liked. But I capped it at 5. So, my first bonus point I'm going to give to the paranoia this movie induced, because the reason I was just like back in my chair for so long is because you just didn't know what was coming. And, I guess I'm trained to think that there's always going to be a jump scare because they're everywhere, and just waiting for them, and there really wasn't any. So that it built the paranoia really well. So I gave that one a bonus point. Next bonus point, I already touched on this once, but the original concept, a paranormal podcast, it was kind of meta since it was like a horror podcast within the movie. But original concept with modern problems. So the fact that the technology was the vehicle for the demon or the entity to travel through. But the fact that it's like an ancient, being. And so it is like evolved over time.
Yeah, it got with the times very quickly.
Yeah. So that at some point it's traveling through like these children's songs, basically.
Yes.
So at some point, was it just sung? It was just for being sung. And then was it records? And then, cassettes, CDs, and now digital audio files.
You know what? I would like to see the evolution of this entity and how it got to this point.
It's keeping up with times.
Yeah, because it basically jacked itself into the Matrix and sent itself out into the world, and it was pretty impressive.
Yep. So third bonus point I gave for the setting. So I didn't know until afterwards when we were talking about it that it was the director's childhood home. But it was such a good setting, because what is creepier than your grandma's house or your old aunt's house?
Yeah, very fair.
That has not been updated. It's still 70s, 80s.
It creaks. It smells like old people.
Yes. And I mean, I think back to just being young and having to, spending the night at a grandparent's house. Nothing was creepier, and it just not being your own home, but there was just old things.
Yeah.
And
odd sounds in the middle of the night. The elderly clearing their throat or having a coughing fit.
Yeah. So I thought the setting, for being so contained, kind of a similar concept I made with Iron Lung. They were able to do a very contained set and utilized it really well. You never see outside the house.
Yeah.
It's the house the entire time. And just a very creepy, like, calling back to a universal fear. It's a common fear, just feeling unsettled in old, like, family members' houses.
Yeah, and there's a lot of trauma baked into this. Like the mother figure is dying. She's on her deathbed. The daughter is taking care of her, and then these strange occurrences happen while she's, the witching hour, which is another cool callback.
Oh yeah.
So I did enjoy that, and the fact that it plays on, the darkest parts of our life to the point where you see her having to, clean feces off her own mother.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just such a hard feeling. Hello, Bailey. It's such a hard, like, mind space to get into, because it's like something that I couldn't imagine doing that for my mother. And so it's just such a hard watch.
Well, and then if it, likely her childhood home.
Yeah.
And, there's also tons of feelings tied to your own childhood home.
Oh, yeah.
Outside of what's going on in this one. But the fact she's back there taking care of her dying mother. Yeah. So, okay, next bonus point. So I called them souvenirs.
That's an accurate term.
And kind of off of the way that we think that maybe how this demon has gone through time and probably changed the way it gets into people's lives. Like I said, maybe through records and then cassette CDs and then now digital audio files. When it started to show you all of the prior victims.
Yeah.
You're starting to get the little stories of all the previous victims. And you get their story, and then but you've got the current one or the most recent one first, and you hear all the things that's happening.
Yes.
The banging, the doll, the song. There was all these different things, and it was all happening to these most current victims. Then as it goes back and you start learning of the stories of all the prior ones, you start learning that, oh, this is where the banging came from. This is where the doll came from. And so it's like it's picking one thing from each prior victim and doubling it, giving it to the next person.
Yeah, the hellish souvenir, I think, is such a good way to put it.
And so when it gets to, as it keeps going, it's just like more and more chaotic. and or you're like, oh my God, that's what that is. Like the banging noise that sounds like someone, beating on a door.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, oh, well, it's just old pipes banging. That's how the skeptic is trying to explain it away. And then you find out it was some lady had put her baby in a trash bag and was beating it against a furnace. And
Mm-hmm.
that was the banging sound. And then the doll. Oh my God.
The doll was fucked.
Dolls don't usually get me, but holy cow, that was a freaking creepy doll.
It was like the
The
imagery of it, the sounds that it made. Like, get
Yeah.
that thing out of my
And
house.
they're like, yeah, that's a sleepy time doll. It's supposed to help you sleep. Excuse me?
Yeah, sleep for fucking ever.
Exactly. And they're like, yeah, it's just gonna be in the nursery.
No, keep that creepy ass doll away from any sort of children.
Yeah. Okay. So I liked that just little, I don't know, Easter egg or
Okay.
just that demon's little thing. I'm just taking souvenirs. And then my very last bonus point, I mentioned it a while ago, the shifting points of view. So we would go from third person where we see Evie, main character, doing her thing, and then it would switch to a first person point of view.
Yes.
And that's when they would do some of the panning. And it was always a lot of the times in these like slower movies, they're trying to build suspense and they'll pan really slow and you don't know what you're looking at, and then it'll start panning back and you're always expecting there to be like a jump scare or even just like someone wasn't standing in the doorway and then they pan back and they are, something. But every time they would pan it, it was always following her gaze. So it's like it would start panning and then you become her. You're looking through her eyes. And there was a couple of times when it was in that first person point of view and I felt like I was over there like in the passenger seat and you're like slamming on your imaginary brakes because I was like, no, I don't want to go in there.
Yeah.
Don't take me in there. I don't want to go in there first. Like I'll stand behind her and I'll watch her go in. I don't want to go in there first. And it would just you were just going. So it was just that it was another one of those. It was unsettling, the flipping and then the framing. It would just turn and then it would stay there. And then it would be, the next day when the camera is still at this bad angle and it just makes you so unbalanced. And then there was another one where she like is in bed and then she goes to lay down and the camera lays down with her.
That was a cool shot.
And that was another one I was bracing because she just like looked down the hall at the mom's room. She didn't actually go like lay eyes on her.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my God, the way they laid it, you could kind of see under the bed. And I was like, oh, there's going to be something under the bed.
That would have been, like you just see mom's face.
Yeah.
That would have been like, wild.
And there was just so many of those just building suspense and you just don't know where the scare is going to come from.
Yeah. And then like the guided meditation that turns into like
God.
its own horror spin. You're like, what the fuck?
What is floating up from the water? Oh, it's a baby.
It's a bloated body of a baby.
Yeah.
Like, what? How did we get to this part? Like,
yeah. Yep. So, and like I said, I have multiple things I could sub out for any of those, but I think those were probably the most impactful things that I wanted to give those bonus point. So,
okay. I gave it 4 bonus points, which is really good. I mean, biggest one that we didn't talk about. So I gave it setting. Having it in a one house is such a hard thing to do. Most of the time when it's focused around one location, it kind of falls flat. It's very one note. You get kind of forced claustrophobia, but this movie did such a good job with the space is too small. The space is too big. What the fuck is that? Like, and the dead panning without jump scares was so refreshing and like just letting the audience see like a glimmer or like the shape of the mom in the background, which I don't think we touched on it. Like the mom is beyond sick. Like when we say deathbed, she
Like
is she can't.
hospice level. Like she
Yes.
is in her final
Yeah,
days.
can't eat, can't drink, can't clean
Mm-mm.
herself up, and she's very religious.
I mean, and she's like basically comatose at this point.
Yes, yeah, and so but you see a lot of like the religious iconographies. There's
Mm-hmm.
so much like little pieces. There's saints. There are like little idols. There's all kinds
Mm-hmm.
of like this is a very Christian home or Catholic Christian home.
Catholic,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so you get this kind of like unsettled, like, oh God, like if it can get into this devout woman's
Mm-hmm.
home, like, and until you figure out the vehicle is the song played backward in this modern day twist, it's so like, well, what's happening? Is the mom possessed? Like,
Is
is
that why
she?
she's sick?
Yeah,
Yeah.
or is this demon like playing off of what it hears in the audio that these two are having a podcast about?
Mm-hmm.
So you get to the point where that question's being asked the whole time you're in the movie. The tension is wrapping up. So like setting was amazing, and that puts it right into my next bonus point of spatial audio. Like our theater ruled, it should not have been as good as it was. I do think it will be a limiting factor for a home watch if you don't have access to
Surround
like
sound.
surround sound.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is going to take away from it.
But headphones.
Yeah, headphones. That was my next point. Is like if you did it in full like headphones, surround sound, like make sure you are prepared for the level of paranoia that can
Mm-hmm.
only happen when you've got your headphones on and you hear something behind you.
And that, I mean, that was such a big part of the movie and such another relatable thing was, if you have your noise canceling headphones on and you hear something and you jump and you pull them off because you think you hear something behind you, but it's just coming through your headphones, or just the not knowing what's going on around you.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so it was such a like I said, it was such a relatable issue. Another part it auto goes in with that like modern
Yeah.
concept.
My next bonus point is that fuck ass doll on the fridge. Like everything is popping off. It's crazy. You really get into these like very quick moving like camera pans where
Mhm.
everything is coming to its head, and you see that little fucking doll on top of the fridge, and
Yeah.
for whatever reason it just was like, oh God.
Well, and it's like, it's not, there's no reason for it to be there, even if there was one in this house randomly also.
There's no way. She would
No.
have gotten it pulled
Well,
out and like done the audio file and crap for
Well,
it.
because she had to look it up. So
Yeah,
if her mom had
she
one, she
don't know
did.
this
Yeah.
doll.
It just happened to, materialize on top of the fridge.
Yeah, but I mean that's a really dumb subjective point, but like that got me, and so good job. You used a doll
Yeah.
effectively, and you didn't make it jump out.
Well, so it makes me wonder, like on a rewatch, if we could spot those other souvenirs.
I think this movie definitely lends itself to a rewatch
Mhm.
and allow us to kind of pause it and see what we can see in a scene, because
Oh,
there's
yeah.
like you talked about, there's so many dark shadows that I'm
Mhm.
sure we missed something in the theater.
Yeah.
My final fourth bonus point. This movie felt like it was on a little bit of a budget while we were watching it, right? Limited casting, all that. It was not until I did a little bit of research on this and found out that this was a $500,000 movie. And it did not feel like that.
Mm-mm.
It was masterfully done. I want to see more of this director. I want to see him get funded. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool. But I think, let's see, our total tallies. I gave it 25, which is a solid B.
Solid B.
Yeah, it wasn't my like super jam, but it was still an absolute delight to watch.
Mhm. I gave it a 30, which just squeaks by with an A.
Which is very high praise for you.
Yeah.
You oftentimes are the negative Nancy.
There's just not a lot that gets me, or I'll poke holes in anything.
Yeah, you are the skeptic.
Yeah, I am. Like, I am the Evie. I am the skeptic. I can, yeah. But this one got me, and I didn't have a lot of issues with it.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a good scary movie.
It was very solid, very unexpected, and people who were ranting and raving how terrible it was, I think maybe you just had a bad theater.
Yeah.
Or maybe your experience was bad, or maybe this wasn't for you. But the way that it played on the darkest parts of the human psyche, and like anything that preys on children kind of automatically
yeah.
gets like, oh, no, please don't.
Yeah.
you know?
Animals and children.
Yeah.
I think that for the people that didn't enjoy it, they maybe just don't enjoy this type of horror movie. They're looking for more of the slasher, more of the gory.
It's honestly, like, not to go back to our last video, but it's probably all like
Yeah,
the
those
Scream
were all
Glazers.
those are all the Scream Glazers.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
But I think that's pretty solid. And if we're going to try to convince you, dear listener, to go watch this movie, I think we need to kick off with some scenes.
Okay. Yep. So the ones that really got me, what the probably the one that got me the most, it was kind of the whole scene. It wasn't just one thing in it, and it kept building. So she goes in to check on her mom. The closet door is cracked.
Yep.
And every time that she's interacted with this closet, it always shuts fully. Obviously, the mom is not opening it. She is basically comatose.
Yes.
And normally there's a wheelchair sitting in front of it. So first off, she walks in the room and it's the closet, I mean, just barely cracked, but enough. And they're not really drawing attention to it, but just the fact that it is such a simple setting and everything is the same.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed it right away. And then, she sits down at her mother's bedside and her back is to the closet. And with the focusing in and out, so I don't know, this is like not a universal experience, but I wear contacts.
Mm-hmm.
And I have astigmatism. And so when I'm not wearing my contacts and I don't have my glasses on, like a crack in the bathroom door, if the light is on, it like double, triples, quadruples it, the light.
Yeah.
And so that's what it was doing in the background. It was making that closet door crack look just huge. And I couldn't tell if it was just slowly opening more. And then all of a sudden the light flips on and you're like, oh, well, yep, something definitely is happening with this closet.
Yeah.
And so obviously the light flicks on and she like turns around and she gets up and slowly kind of walks over there to look at it. And I can't even remember if she opened it or not, because now you're seeing in the background, you're seeing mom and she sits up out of the bed.
Wide-eyed.
Yeah.
And like we said, she's completely immobile.
Yeah. She has not moved on her own this entire time. How she got out of the bed, we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Ended up on the floor while girl was out.
She had a brewski tumble. It happens to the best of us.
But we had not seen her move on her own other than her like labored shallow breathing.
No, that's not necessarily true, because she did throw some Hail Marys out of nowhere a little bit. I can't remember if it was before or after this event, where she like shakes her. She's like, "What did you say?" And then immediately she's like, "Oh, I'm shaking my
Yeah,
dying
but
mother."
we did not see her move. We heard
you
talking.
heard a talking.
You don't know if it was her voice. We've never heard her voice before.
Right.
Well, we heard it on the the one voicemail, but
I'm gonna say that it can mimic voices in that event, but also like, oh god, using like a Hail Mary to
especially because
freak you out.
She had played that voicemail on her computer, and if this demon is like a virus in her computer and has a little voice recording of her mom,
yeah,
that's how it worked.
Okay, all right, yeah, it's Scooby Doo Cyber Attack.
Yep, exactly.
Great 2000s
but
movie.
yeah, the mom just like sitting up slowly in the bed behind her. Ooh, that one got me.
Yeah,
but
I wrote that down as one of my scenes too.
Just that whole scene, just the closet, because early in the movie she had looked in the closet for something.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she heard something, and then she closed it and there's a mirror on the front of the closet, and just the barest split second as she's closing it, you see a figure.
Yes.
But I mean, just barely. And it really makes you wonder, like, did I see that? And it did look like the mom. So that the voice and the seeing her, but knowing, like, you can see her, like, she's in the bed. That made me think at the very beginning, like, maybe we had like a mimic situation going on. So it kept you guessing.
Yeah.
I did like that. But yeah. Oh, and then so my next one was that dream sequence.
Yeah, that
Because
was
you
gross.
didn't know it was a dream sequence because she had like fallen asleep at her computer, but it was it was running down the stairs. And I didn't know if we were about to have a like creepy grandma from It
Oh, yeah,
situation
just out of the
where she's
darkness when
like
she's just
running down the
running.
stairs.
Yeah.
And then the audio, you get like a heavy breathing right here in your ear. And it made me feel like she was going to be standing right behind her,
Yeah, well, like the
breathing.
running down the stairs too, it has you in the theater, like you look to right because it's moving from left to right behind.
Mm-hmm.
The camera's panning in the direction, but it's not showing you anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, while your head is turned to this direction, you kind of go back to the theater and you're like, oh yeah, I'm watching a movie. And then all of a sudden, just
And yeah,
oh my
it
god,
made you feel like, so you think someone is running down the stairs towards her because you think she's still just sitting at her computer,
mm-hmm.
and it would be where her back is turned. And so you think this thing is like fucking hauling ass towards her. And then you get this breathing right behind you.
Mm-hmm.
And you think, it's her and her headphones, and it's like something. And I really thought it was gonna like pan to her on her computer and something, it was gonna be like a lipstick demon moment
Oh
where it's behind her, but she doesn't know it.
yeah, that would have
And
freaked me
then
out.
it was like her like waking up. And that being like thrown in there, all of a sudden you're like, oh my God. That was the movie, the pacing, I'll talk about it more later, but it was really good. It didn't have like peaks trying to just like keep you in it or like adrenaline spikes.
Yes.
It was like a steady, and then there might be like that, that was all of a sudden a spike, but then it kept kind of going. It didn't like really drop back down. It kept momentum, and it might have a spike, but then that momentum kept going. So that was one of those moments. Then going off of that, like as it kept getting closer and closer to the end, it was just like all gas, no brakes. We're just going to keep going.
Oh yeah.
And so the ending, when everything was just going crazy, she like ran into the kitchen, and because there was so much going on, it just completely bypasses the fact that all of a sudden the furniture is stuck to the ceiling. The kitchen is like destroyed all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
It was like she didn't even pay it any attention. But the kitchen table and the chairs are stuck to the ceiling. There's like dirt all over the kitchen counter. And that was another point when they turn and you see the doll on the fridge.
Mm-hmm.
And then she like runs back upstairs.
Don't forget the crown on the wall. Like just
Oh, yeah,
all
the
of the
drawing.
drawings. Oh my
Mhm.
god. Yeah, you see like a bunch of little baby looking
Well,
things.
she had been drawing
and then-
it.
Yeah, up at the
and
top of the
then-
stair was this giant entity with red in the center of it.
Mhm.
Where
And
it's
then
like, oh my
all
god.
the drawings were just all over the walls leading up the stairway. And then the very last, when she gets in there and there's just, the mom's not in the bed and the bed is made. And she had made the comment about, I killed my mom. And I was like, wait, are we having a psychosis episode? Like,
Mhm.
is her mom actually been dead? And this is like, she's in like severe denial.
Yeah, it did get a little convoluted there toward the end.
But then she's like, you see, there's another mirror and it faces the closet, and she's standing in the closet with her back to you. And then all of a sudden she starts doing this creepy backwards walk out, and
yeah, it was pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
But I did appreciate it for what
Yeah.
it was. Do you think it'd be better for us to do like a compliment sandwich here? Because I have a couple of negatives.
Sure.
Okay. My first negative, her co-host was very one note,
Yeah.
but also the most logical person
Yeah.
of this twosome.
Had she just listened to him, they probably would have been fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Then like another thing that we need to talk about is like she finds out in the movie that she's pregnant. This demon goes after babies,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you're like, okay, that's pretty wild. The statue that they used that was like a perverted version of like Mary with a bunch of babies crawling all over it.
Well, that was one of the souvenirs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
Because
like,
they talked about one of the ladies that had died or killed her baby and then killed herself or something.
Yeah, she was a sculptor.
She sculpted all these weird little statues and went and like handed them out to people.
Yeah. So you like we talked about the physical, how this anomaly can make things in like the physical realm like is affected by that. You see this weird ass statue. She tries to hide it, then all of a sudden it's back, and it was a very good use of like, if I was her, I'd have fucking dipped. Like there's nothing like I'd be like, all right, mom, come with me, and then we'd get out of there. Now, granted, yes, it wouldn't have done anything, but I'm a coward at heart when it comes to that. Like, I don't do the spookies. Like, no, I'm good. Another thing, we kind of talked on it briefly. Ivy is Evie is very one note. But I think for now that we've had a little bit of time to think about it, now that we're talking about it, I think it's very easy to get into her mind space when you take into account like all the trauma that's happened.
Well, and I mean just the little things, like she's a recovering alcoholic and she's now gonna relapse, or she is relapsing.
She hates her boyfriend.
She's on either depression medication or antipsychotics because she pulled. I saw the name, but I can't remember what it was. I think it was a depression medication. But she's got lots of things going on. Her mom she's having to take care of her mom who is in her final days.
Yeah. She's got some guy's bastard.
Yeah. And she even had said she should have listened to her friend a year ago and broken up with him.
Yeah.
And now she is knocked up by him. So, and then her friend, which it kind of sounds like, to me, it almost sounded like the one that got away or situation.
She definitely seemed very invested in the co-host, right?
Well, he's in London.
Yeah.
And he has like a girl, but he was like, I could take a week off work. And like, I was like, damn, boy.
Yeah.
I
mean, unless you're just a really good friend, that could be a great platonic relationship, but it's just, it didn't come off that way at that moment.
Touching on the London thing, I liked how they used that to do the witching hour.
Yeah, it was a really cool, and it felt natural.
So it was it would be 3:00 her time, 3 a.m. recording, so it was around 9 a.m. his time. So that made sense in a way. I guess I don't know what she does for work or whatever.
I think right now she's just taking care of mom.
Yeah, so she could do that at that hour, and so it gave a reason for her to be up, during the witching hour every night. Instead of it just being a wake up in the night and look at the clock and it's 3 a.m.
Yeah, it's not like it was an effective use of dream sequences, but if you had to depend on dream sequences, it would not be nearly as good as it was.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the positive now. When they played the like vocal effect for Abazu the demon, the first time you hear it and it's like this deep guttural like voice, and then you get kind of the information because they're like, oh, Abazu, oh, it's the eater of babies and killer of children and make your mom go crazy. It was just so out of pocket because it's supposed to be like a feminine demon, all this, and then all of a sudden it gets this burly demonic voice. I was like, oh my God. It's like, that's really cool.
Speaking of this name, I don't know how you would just spell that off the top of your head.
I wouldn't have got it right.
Yeah. First freaking try. She was like, how do you say it again? And she spells it right. And it's some weird spelling.
Yeah.
I'm like, bullshit. Call bullshit on that right now.
Yeah.
They should have been Abazu. And then at the top, it was like, Google, did you mean Abazu?
Yeah. I would have spelt it like Zaboomafoo almost. I can feel. But no, I did enjoy that. The audio file, again, like we can harp on every like little detail about how it was a smaller budget movie, but we just got to celebrate it. This is a movie to be celebrated, and I think it's something that needs to be watched. If you really enjoy, demonic possession, this kind of put me in the mood. Like I kind of want to dive into some more of those.
Well, and then it's like, was it a possession though? Because Evie, as far as we saw, Evie didn't get possessed, and that she was the one that would have been the target because she was the one that was pregnant. So did the mom?
The mom was possessed at the end. She attacks Evie and it fades to black.
Why? We never saw her attack her.
Yeah, you get the screenshot or the like scene. She's like lunged out.
But why? Why did the mom get possessed?
I'm assuming because she was the weakest.
But she wasn't the pregnant one.
I don't think that if you're trying to...
I'm pretty sure Evie was pretty weak.
Evie was mentally... Maybe can't possess people on antidepressants. I don't know. I don't know how that works. I don't know how a weird virus demon comes in and like fucks your shit up. But I do know that the mom would definitely be the weakest. We saw the mom's like body move. I don't want to say on its own, but at one point, you know, you had already talked about she fell out of the bed while Evie goes to a party.
With her baby daddy.
Yeah, her baby daddy's like, hey, babe, roll up.
I'm going to throw a party at our place. I think it'd be really good for you. Your mom's fine. She's not going anywhere. I was like,
what if
she's a winner?
Yeah. So, like, automatically you hate that guy.
Yeah.
And so we get to that point, not to get off topic here, but I think it was because she was... I mean, her soul was not going to be around much longer, right? And the thing with possession movies is like if somebody's on the verge of death or weak, like it kind of plays on that.
I guess just its ultimate goal was to like kill the child, and so just in whatever way it could do it.
Yeah.
But it just seemed that in every other story we heard, it went directly to the mother. And then to the child. And so, unless it was getting a multi-generational here, it was like going on a kill streak or something. I don't know.
Yeah. And then I'm a big fan of Hereditary. We definitely vibe with it. The clicking, sucking noise that
the death rattle.
The death rattle and the way that they played it, like that was one of the souvenirs it picked up here was the death rattle from the mom and was playing like this. Like I can't obviously recreate it, but it was like a gurgling, like
guttural.
Yeah.
I mean, like
it was played well.
It was very a similar feel to the Hereditary click.
Yeah.
And it was just another one of those. It would just play in one of those like back speakers. And it would feel like it was coming from behind you or it was like right in your ear.
Yep. And then like there was like the breathing noise that again was a souvenir of the woman who like asphyxiated herself with a bag or plastic in one of the previous, and you're like, oh my God. And so again, like as it unfolds, you just get all these different layers and they start layering the sound effects, and it is so effective in the moment where like, yeah, you were cowering and rightfully so. Like it was terrifying. So for a movie like this to put its money where its mouth was, A24 picked up this movie. Good for them. This just kind of falls into that like hit or miss category with A24 when it comes to horror, and this was a hit.
For sure.
But I think we're getting close to wrapping up. What questions does this movie invoke for you?
So my biggest one was, did they both die at the end? It didn't make it clear. You assume, but was if the demon was targeting the mom to possess her to get its final goal, was it the right target? Was Evie able to, was that body strong enough to,
Yeah, overpower. I mean, demon juice. Sure, I'm sure it's just juice to the gills with demon energy or whatever. I don't think Evie would really put up much of a fight.
Yeah, against her mom.
Yeah. So I think it really preys on that too. So for me, it was very effective. That it made sense to me. That's the way I'm going to interpret it because we don't get that.
Yeah.
And most of the time, I don't really care for movies that won't finish. We talked about this in the pilot episode where if a book just kind of fades to black, you get fired up about it. But this, you were like, this is an A movie.
Well, the ending where it was like all tense and you're like, it was just black and you're just hearing yelling and falling. And it's like you're holding your breath. And then it cuts to the credits and it's like this upbeat song, and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, you kind of forget to breathe in that moment, and then all of a sudden it ends, and you're like, okay, you know what? But looking back on it, it is going to be something that I am very fond of. My question was, how did Canada public funding and their Olympic hockey team choke so bad? This movie, hold on, I need to applaud Ian Tucson because, like, you had a shoestring budget. You funded it for $500,000. The people that are supposed to help fund this movie, which would be the Canada public funding, they said no, we're just going to pass. We don't think this could work. And then he's like, well, I'm just going to do it anyway. He goes to his childhood home. I believe during the filming or around the time that this was all filming, both of his parents passed away.
That's crazy.
And so you can kind of feel that in the movie, the emotional, like, it really evokes that feeling of loneliness, sadness, and like the harsh realities that eventually we are all going to shed the mortal
especially
coil.
your parents dying, you know, something almost everybody has to deal with.
The fact that he grossed $9.3 million on his $500,000 budget. Maybe Canada will listen next time. I want to see you get the rights. I think I read something that he was trying to get rights for Paranormal Activity, and this felt like it could be an amazing adaptation of whatever they try to do.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and if he wants to, turn his childhood home into an Airbnb, I'll go stay in it.
Oh yeah.
Because I think, didn't you say like it's still like the walls, all the crayon drawings are still on it?
Yeah, in an interview he did, it is still like, it still looks like the final scene, which is just wild.
Yeah, like turn it into like Stewmakers, like the Airbnb. I'll go stay in it.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
Who's this movie for?
For anyone that needs to feel refreshed, because we get so much of just the like flashy slasher horror that this dialed it back. Felt like it took it kind of back to basics. It went back to the building blocks of like, what is scary?
Yeah.
And it was like a nice kind of reset where it wasn't fireworks and strobe lights trying to catch you off guard, scare you. It was just a good, unsettling, suspenseful, paranoia, good movie.
Yeah. It's probably one of the best possession style movies that in the modern era for me. I think it will be something that I definitely would recommend to people, especially those who are really kind of in tune with that style of horror. I think this is an absolute home run.
Yep. I also think it was good for those teenage boys and any of those teenagers.
Oh yeah,
in the audience, because this movie is definitely not going to help with the declining birth rate, because that was the best ad for birth control I have seen in a long time.
Yeah, and also don't trust just random things that people send you.
Yeah,
like it could be a demon.
Don't open random emails that people send you. Like, I think that's the lesson we have to all teach our parents. And they were like, I'm gonna click it. I said fuck it, and I'm just gonna click it.
Yeah, and if there are any directors out there who are thinking like they need to make a massive movie to be impactful, look at this movie, let it sit and ruminate after you finish watching it, and see what he was able to do.
Yep.
I think that just about wraps up our take on Undertone. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the movies down below, or if you've got something you want us to watch, we might give it a shot.
So like, subscribe, and share for more horrifying content. We'll see you in the next episode. Until then, stay spooky.